Sherlock Holmes in the Disappearance of Lady Milburn by Ngamoko Nikora. Chapter 1. A Mysterious Invitation. Tom, Mark and Tipo were lounging in Tom's room. The afternoon sun was streaming in through the window. They had just come back from their latest adventure with Sherlock Holmes and felt a yearning for more. The thrill of solving mysteries had ignited a passion within them. "Do you think we'll get another chance to work with Holmes?" Mark asked, tossing a coin into the air. "Of course. We've proved ourselves," Tipo replied confidently. "We're practically detectives ourselves now." Just then, an envelope fluttered through the window, landing softly on Tom's desk. They all stared at it, wide-eyed. Excitedly, Tom picked it up and ripped it open. Inside was a beautifully written note by none other than the great detective himself, Sherlock Holmes. It read as follows: "To my young friends, you are invited to a mysterious gathering at Milburn Manor tonight at 8 o'clock. The evening promises intrigue. Yours sincerely, Sherlock Holmes." "Milburn Manor? Isn't that the old estate on the outskirts of the city?" Mark asked, eyes gleaming with curiosity. "Yes, I heard it's haunted," Tipo added, a hint of nervousness creeping into his voice. "Haunted or not, we can't miss this," Tom declared, already feeling the pull of adventure. "Let's meet at the usual spot in 2 hours." Excited and slightly anxious, the boys swiftly prepared for the evening, uncertain yet hopeful for what lay ahead. Chapter 2. The Haunting of Milburn Manor. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow, the boys made their way to Milburn Manor. The large estate grew taller and more imposing as they approached, with ivy creeping up its stone walls and shadows looming in every corner. Upon reaching the entrance, they were greeted by a sense of foreboding. "Are you ready for this?" Mark asked, glancing around. "Of course. This will be an incredible adventure," Tom replied, taking the lead with confidence. When they entered, the grand foyer welcomed them with an air of antiquity. A chandelier hung above, its crystals shimmering faintly. They could hear voices coming from the drawing room, where Holmes had evidently gathered other guests. Holmes turned to them as they entered. "Ah, there they are, my young detectives," he exclaimed. They could see a mix of guests, including local aristocrats and nervous-looking men who seemed out of place. "Thank you for coming, gentlemen," he continued. "You each have a vital role to play tonight. We are here to uncover the truth behind the strange occurrences plaguing Milburn Manor. People have reported eerie sounds and sightings of a ghostly figure." "Ghosts?" Tipo said incredulously. "Do you really believe in that sort of thing?" Holmes chuckled softly. "Every mystery has its origin, my dear Tipo. Sometimes the supernatural can be merely a cover for something more sinister." Chapter 3. The guests gather. As they settled into their surroundings, the boys overheard snippets of conversation among the guests. Some seemed genuinely terrified, while others were dismissive of the stories. "Has anyone seen the apparition?" one woman asked nervously. "I rather believe it's a trick of the mind," a man replied skeptically. Holmes cleared his throat, commanding everyone's attention. "Ladies and gentlemen, I understand your fears, but I assure you that we shall uncover the truth this evening. Those who have witnessed the events in question will be staying to offer their accounts." As the attendees introduced themselves, Tom and his friends mingled, gathering insights. An elderly gentleman, Mr. Wilkins, who had lived in the manor for decades, shared the tales of the ghost. "It is said to be Lady Milburn, the mistress of the house, who vanished mysteriously many years ago," he said gravely. "Some say she roams the halls seeking vengeance." "Vengeance? For what?" Mark asked, intrigued. "Her husband, Lord Milburn, was rumoured to have betrayed her," Mr. Wilkins replied. "After her disappearance, he faded into obscurity, leaving behind shadows of guilt." Chapter 4. The investigation begins. After hearing various accounts, Holmes decided to split the guests into smaller groups. "We will explore the manor's corridors and rooms," he instructed. "Remember to document anything unusual. Tom, Mark, Tipo, stick with me. I believe that's our best chance of finding the truth." "Right behind you, Mr. Holmes," Tom said with a smile, ready for action. As they toured the manor, they examined each area, their senses heightened. Ghostly portraits bearing Lady Milburn's likeness watched them from the walls, and the air felt charged with mystery. In the library they found a dusty old tome. "This looks out of place," Mark noted, pulling it off the shelf. As he opened it, a small piece of parchment slipped out, fluttering to the floor. "Take a look," Tipo exclaimed, picking it up. The note seemed to reveal locations within the manor, drawings with strange symbols. "And this," he pointed. "It's a map." Holmes approached, studying the parchment closely. "This could be a key to understanding the hauntings. We should investigate each location marked on this map." Chapter 5. The Secret Chamber. Following the map led them to a hidden door within a dusty corner of the cellar. The door creaked ominously as they pushed it open, revealing a dimly lit chamber. Cobwebs hugged every corner, and the air was thick with dust. "This feels like something out of a story," Tom whispered, his heart racing. Along the chamber walls were artifacts and old furniture, but in the centre stood a tattered diary, its pages yellowed and fragile. Holmes picked it up delicately. This might have belonged to Lady Milburn. Carefully, he flipped through the pages, reading aloud. "No one can be trusted. I know the truth of my husband's betrayal. I will not let this go unpunished." The atmosphere shifted as a chill swept through the room. "What does this mean?" Mark asked, eyes widening with uncertainty. "It tells of a deep-seated betrayal," Holmes said thoughtfully. "If she is indeed haunting this place, it is likely she is still in search of the truth behind her own fate." Just then, a noise echoed through the chamber. They all jumped in alarm. "What was that?" Tipo exclaimed, fear creeping into his voice. "I believe it's time we hurried back to the others," Holmes had concluded, tucking the diary safely in his coat. Chapter 6. Confrontations and Doubts. As they returned to the drawing room, they found the guests in a panic. "The lights flickered, and I swear I saw a figure by the window," a woman cried. Calm down, everyone," Holmes said, stepping forward. "We must approach this rationally." Tom felt a wave of dread wash over him, unsure of what lay ahead. "It's starting to feel real," he murmured to Tipo. "Let's not panic. Remember that we've gathered evidence," Tipo reassured him. Holmes organized the accounts, explaining how the diary might hold clues. If indeed Lady Milburn is still here, we must confront the legend and face her reality. The room fell silent as they all turned to Holmes. "What do you suggest we do?" a guest asked nervously. We must explore the grounds. There is a chance of uncovering the truth and perhaps revealing what this ghost seeks, Holmes said decisively. Chapter 7. The Search for the Truth. The group ventured outdoors, the moonlight illuminating the overgrown gardens surrounding the manor. As they wandered, they caught whispers of cool summer winds that sent shivers down their spines. Somewhere nearby is a gate that leads to a secluded area, Holmes noted. If the stories are true, we must find it. As they moved through the shadows, Tom spotted a glint. Over there, he said, kneeling to inspect a peculiar stone structure half hidden beneath the foliage. Is this? Mark began, pulling away the vines to reveal an intricately carved gate. Holmes stepped forward, examining it closely. This indeed may lead to a forgotten part of the estate. Perhaps this was where Lady Milburn would escape. As they pushed the gate open, it creaked ominously, revealing a hidden path that led to an eerie glade. Suddenly the wind picked up and carried a whisper, faint and mournful. Can you hear that? Tipo asked, his voice barely audible. Yes, Holmes said, intrigued. It sounds as if she is calling for something or someone. Following the sound, they entered a small clearing filled with delicate flowers. In the centre stood a ghostly figure, Lady Milburn herself, a translucent silhouette illuminated by the moonlight. Chapter 8. The Encounter. The boys froze, fear and awe wrestling within them. Lady Milburn turned her gaze upon them, her expression sorrowful. Why have you come? She asked, her voice echoing like distant chimes. Holmes stepped forward, calm and composed. We were drawn here by your story, seeking the truth behind your disappearance. Betrayal, she whispered, her form flickering. I seek closure. My husband, he deceived me. He took my fortune and left me in despair. But why the hauntings? Tipo asked, trembling. To reveal the truth of my ruin, to keep the memory alive. I was wronged, she lamented, tears glistening in her eyes. Your husband? He did not confess? Holmes queried gently. The world was cruel to me. I will not rest until my story is known, Lady Milburn replied. Chapter 9. Revelations. At that moment, Tom stepped forward, empathy filling his heart. You can find peace by revealing the truth. We will help you tell your story to ensure it lives on. You don't need to haunt this place. She turned her gaze to Tom, hope mingling with doubt. But can it be believed? With your story, others will understand. Mark joined in. It's not just about haunting for vengeance, it's about your legacy. Let us uncover the truth together, Tipo added, his voice steady now. Not just for you, but everyone who loved you. A glow began to emanate from Lady Milburn, and she stepped closer, her form becoming more solid. Will you assist me? Holmes nodded. I promise. Together we will unveil the truth behind your story. Chapter 10. The Resolution. As the first rays of dawn broke through the trees, Lady Milburn began to dissipate, but her expression was relieved. Tomorrow, with the sunrise, the truth will be revealed, she whispered, her presence fading slowly but surely. The boys, now awash in adrenaline and purpose, turned to Holmes. We can't leave it like this, Tom said urgently. We need to gather evidence and comfort the current owners of the estate. Indeed, Holmes agreed. We will have to work tonight, Tonight we shall assemble everyone we've uncovered and present it to the authorities. As the night faded into the morning, the boys returned to the manor, now filled with determination they would uncover the truth of Lady Milburn's fate and bring her story to light. Chapter 11. The Gathering of Proof. Days passed, and the boys worked tirelessly alongside Holmes, gathering witness testimonials and sifting through documents in the archives. Piece by piece, they wove together the tapestry of Lady Milburn's life. Finally, they gathered the guests once again in the drawing room, excitement cracking through the air. "Tonight, the truth will be unfolded," Holmes announced as he pulled the documents from his coat. As the crowd quietened, Holmes presented their findings, revealing the deception surrounding Lady Milburn's mysterious disappearance. Guests gasped as he explained how Lord Milburn had been involved in her financial ruin and how he had taken advantage of her absence. "Revelation cannot remain buried in silence," Holmes intoned, gazing at the assembled guests. "Each of you has a role in carrying forth her legacy. We must ensure Lady Milburn's story is remembered and honoured." Chapter 12. The Legacy and Goodbye. With a mix of sorrow and relief, the guests vowed to spread the truth about Lady Milburn. News sparked within the community, preserving her memory for generations to come. As the gathering concluded, the boys stepped outside with Holmes. "I hope she finds peace at last," Mark mused, looking back at the manor through the moonlight. "I trust she will," Tipo added. "We've helped uncover the truth." "Indeed you have shown great skill and heart," Holmes commended them. "You have proven that courage and empathy are essential in solving any mystery." As they prepared to leave, shadows danced playfully, a final gesture of gratitude from Lady Milburn. The air felt lighter, a sense of closure settling over them. Chapter 13. Their next adventure. In the days that followed, the boys reflected on their adventure with Holmes, the thrill, the drama, and the ultimate victory of truth over deception. They had conquered a challenge that not only tested their skills, but also deepened their understanding of human nature. Tom looked at his friends, excitement bubbling in his chest. "What do you think happens next for us? There are bound to be more mysteries out there." Mark grinned. "With a detective mentor like Holmes, the possibilities are endless." Tipo nodded enthusiastically. "Let's continue our adventures. After all, we're officially a part of the story now." As they headed home, ready for whatever lay ahead, the bond of friendship and adventure surged stronger than ever, a legacy that would continue to grow. Sherlock Holmes and the Disappearance of Lady Milburn by Ngamoko Nikora. Copyright Ngamoko Nikora.